G'day guys, welcome to my stage 1 to 10 Giro d'Italia kind of review show. We've been through 10 stages now, almost pretty much halfway through the race. Lots happened, so let's look back at what's happened from stages 1 to 10. First of all, the opening TT in the Netherlands, in Apeldoorn, 9.8k. Now this was an interesting stage. No one lost too much time in the GC battle. However, there were several riders who probably lost a little bit more than they would have hoped. It was won by the pre-race favourite Tom Dumoulin. I think a lot of people had him down as the rider to watch for the stage, and he certainly delivered on that. Second place, Roglic from Lotto NL Jumbo. I didn't really know about him coming into the race. I don't know about you guys, but he was a bit of a shock for me to finish so close to such an established TT rider. And then the rest of the top 10 were kind of predictable. A lot of people were a bit upset about Fabian Cancellara's finish. However, being ill, can't expect too much of him. Stage 2 similarly was pretty predictable. I think a lot of people would have had Kittel down as their man to watch for the stage, and he delivered in quite a good fashion. There was a lot of talk about the Edix Quick-Step lead-out train and how they've come together in such a short space of time. I was quite impressed with them, like Bob Jungels and Fabio Savantini, probably standout performers in that lead-out train. Having said that, Arnaud Demar, second place. Good ride for him. I didn't think he would be able to get second place, although he has had quite a good year. I just don't see him as sort of that stage race, stage winner type sprinter. I view him more as a classic sort of rider. Now the rest of the top 10 was probably the kind of second grade sprinters that you would expect. The Giacomo Nizzolo, Caleb Ewan, those sort of guys who were always sort of up there, good riders. Caleb Ewan's a bit younger though, and I believe he'll be on the rise in years to come. However, Andre Amador, he was an interesting placing. Finished 9th on a sprint stage, and in the TT he was in the top 10 as well. So that's 2 stages and 2 top 10s. Same with Marcel Kittel. Now the third stage, yet again, another sprint day, and who better to win it than the sprint king himself at the moment, Marcel Kittel. I think it's good to see Kittel come back from, like, last year was pretty horrible for him through illness and injury, and new team, new start, and he's getting results left, right and centre. So that was 3 stages in a row that he finished in the top 10, and yeah, just shows what a force he is, and the other sprinters should watch out for him. Bit of a different shake-up in the top 10, Elia Viviani coming second and Giacomo Nizzolo coming third, and then followed by the rest of the sprint. Now this stage actually did see a GC shake-up with the bonuses on offer at finishes. Marcel Kittel did actually take the lead from Tom Dumoulin. Moving on to stage 4, and the first of the sort of hilly stages. This is what the Giro is known for, having flat looking stages that have steep climbs towards the end that end up with all the sprinters dropped and a punchy sort of classics rider taking the win. Now on this occasion it was Diego Ulissi riding away from the field in quite an emphatic fashion. It was a good stage. I would put that down as one of the best stages of the race so far to go watch. If you haven't looked at any of the highlights or anything, go watch that stage. The stage also saw Tom Dumoulin show his dominance in the early stages of the race and take a bit more time on some of his GC rivals. However, the rest of the field that finished in close together packs, no one who I view as a GC contender lost all that much time. And with stage 4, we saw another GC change, with Tom Dumoulin taking back the pink jersey from Marcel Kittel, who had been dropped on a few of those steep hills. Now stage 5, a sprint of sorts, however it was a reduced sprint finish with Marcel Kittel out the back. Who is your next big sprinter in the race? He hadn't really shown himself too much in the opening days. It is the gorilla, it is Andre Greipel. Greipel took the stage quite convincingly. There was quite a big gap back to second. He powered away. It was an uphill sprint on a low gradient but uphill sprint, and with that he took the victory. No real GC shake-up on this stage, nothing happened. Tom Dumoulin finished with the field, so it all finished together. Stage 6, the first uphill finish of the race, and one of my riders to watch, who I liked watching in breakaways and such, Tim Vellens took the stage and had a pretty good after race celebration, lifting his bike in the air. Now, the breakaway was left quite a significant gap early on, and there was no one in the breakaway who could challenge for the pink jersey, and so Giant Alpson let them ride. And I actually read somewhere that it was about 60k to go just before Vellens and teammate Pim Lichter attacked. Tom Dumoulin actually told him that the team wasn't going to chase because there was no one up the road who they needed to chase. So it was quite a good ride. Pim Lichter and Tim Vellens got across the gap to the breakaway, and then Vellens played pretty good hand, bluffing that he couldn't pull or anything before finally attacking the group, riding on to win on his own. Further back in the GC group, Vincenzo Nibali, he attacked and was reeled back in, and then a small group including Tom Dumoulin and Domenico Pozzovivo crept off the front, and they gained some time on the other rivals, with Esteban Chavez leading that second sort of group through, pulling a few seconds over Nibali himself. So I guess that showed how everyone's climbing form was going early on in the race, and it was an interesting finish to see Nibali attack before he wasn't dropped, but before losing some time to people he probably shouldn't be losing time to. So that saw Dumoulin increase his lead in the pink jersey race. Stage 7, yet again the Gorilla came out on top, however not quite as big a margin this time, but showing his sprinting form for later on in the year. 2 stage wins. Nothing really happened in the GC. Again, everyone stayed together. Tom Dumoulin didn't have too much to do for the day. Stage 8. Now, I'm going to say this before I tell you anything. If you're going to watch a stage of this tour so far out of the 1 to 10 stages I'm covering, this would be it. Stage 8 was a cracker. Now, the breakaway was up the road, and this was the Strada Bianchi stage that everyone had been talking about, with the gravel climb towards the end. Breakaway up the road, Gianluca Brambilla in the breakaway. It wasn't that far down on GC, I can't remember how much it was, but it was close enough that you kind of had to worry. They got pulled back a little bit, but it was still way too much, and I think Giant Alpson boys probably would have been assuming that Tom Dumoulin and the GC group could pull back time over that last dirt climb enough to keep them safe. However, Brambilla attacked at the base of the dirt climb from the breakaway, and over the next 20 or 30k he just pulled time on Dumoulin. And Dumoulin got dropped from the GC group going up that climb. He lost about a minute at the end of the stage, I think it was, and so that wouldn't have been his aim going into the stage. And the Italian climber from Edix Quickstep, Gianluca Brambilla, took the stage win. Other than that, a lot of the GC favourites came in together. Wasn't too much time lost by anyone other than Tom Dumoulin. Bob Jungels did lose a little bit of time. However, it was only 20 or 30 seconds. The day after his poor ride on stage 9, Tom Dumoulin was expected to claw back some time on the other rivals in the individual time trial, which had been one of his aims going into the race. It had been said that he was perhaps trying to lose some time going into the mountains so that he could capture some more stages. However, I truly believe that Tom Dumoulin had fallen ill of something had happened, as this was one of his aims going into the race, and he's aiming to have a good Rio Olympics time trial. So why throw away an opportunity to race a good time trial at the Giro? Now, the stage was won by Roglic, the Lotto NL Jumbo rider, who I didn't really know from the first TT. Now, once again, I wasn't really expecting him to win it, but the weather and conditions on the road played a large part in this time trial. In the GC battle, Gianluca Brambilla was expected to drop the pink jersey to someone. It was expected Ilnur Zakarin. He was close up there and quite a good time trialist. However, Zakarin suffered 2 crashes and it never resulted. Going through all the time checks, Gianluca Brambilla appeared to be down enough that he was losing the pink jersey. It was merely a question of whom. Bob Jungels, his young teammate in the white jersey, put in quite a good ride, and going towards the final time cut, it looked like he would be the pink jersey. However, over the last part of the course, Gianluca Brambilla pulled out the ride of his life and managed to hold onto the pink jersey by a mere second. Other riders pulled out pretty good rides, such as Valverde, Nibali, Landa. Esteban Chavez had a good ride, however lost time over these guys due to his time trialling pedigree perhaps not being the best. Rafael Majka and Ilnur Zakarin finished reasonably despite Zakarin's incident. The talk of this stage perhaps though was Katusha pulling out one of its riders for excessive drafting. However, there was merely a time sanction put on by the race, but the team itself pulled the rider from the race and sent him home. Stage 10, the final stage I will be covering in this video, was won by young neo-pro Giulio Ciccone. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but I'm not the best with Italian names. So they were in a 3-man break. It was Damiano Cunego and Perazzi from Bardiani, same with Ciccone, and basically Ciccone was meant to be working for Perazzi from what I understood. However, Perazzi did not look very good over a few of the climbs. He appeared to be hurting, same with Cunego, so Ciccone went off on his own and won the stage. So once again, the GC guys had some hills towards the end and Astana strung it out, resulting in Tom Dumoulin getting dropped as well as a few other riders, resulting in quite a small group coming together at the finish. Gianluca Brambilla looked like he was going okay until about 2k from the finish where he dropped off, but awesome ride from him and he still finished in the top 10 on GC. And it was his young teammate Bob Jungels who took over the pink jersey. So he held the pink and white jersey, which is something I don't think we've seen since perhaps Andy Schleck or something at the Tour. See, at this point I'm going to read out the GC results after this stage and make a few predictions about what I believe might happen. Bob Jungels goes into stage 11 with the pink jersey on his back, and Andre Amador from Movistar is in second, 26 seconds down, finishing in the top 10 of all those stages has paid off. Alejandro Valverde is 50 seconds down, so 2 riders in the top 3 from Movistar. Steven Kruijswijk is similarly 50 seconds down. Vincenzo Nibali is 52 seconds down. Gianluca Brambilla is 1 minute 11 down in 6th place. 7th place, Rafael Majka, 1 minute 44 down. 8th place, Jakob Fuglsang, 1:46 down. 9th place, Ilnur Zakarin, 2 minutes and 8 seconds down. And 10th is Esteban Chavez from Orica Green Edge, and he is 2 minutes 26 down. Now, out of those guys, who do I think could win the Tour from this position? Well, I believe Bob Jungels is in quite a strong position. However, he's still young. He hasn't really been proven as a GC rider over a 3-week race. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. He's definitely one for the future, definitely a good rider. And I think he's pretty much cemented the white jersey if he can finish the race. Andre Amador, a bit more experienced. He and Valverde have got the 1-2 going in 2nd and 3rd place. I believe if they both keep going well and Jungels drops out, then they're in a firm place for Movistar to take the race. 4th place, Kruijswijk. I think he's a good rider, and he can certainly get a top 5 from this position. However, I'm not sure if he has that X factor where he can attack and attack and attack. I think he's a bit better at following attacks, and that's a good thing if other riders drop out of the top 10. However, I don't think he has what it takes to take the Giro on his own. 5th, Vincenzo Nibali, proven race winner. It'll just come down to tactics and how his legs go. Nibali's so far this year has had a trend of having a good day and then having a horrible day in some races. So, a bit unpredictable, but all going well, he could win the race from where he is. Number 6, Gianluca Brambilla. I believe Brambilla now will be working for Youngles, and the two of them, if they finish top 10, that would be an amazing result for them. And so I don't expect to see too much from Brambilla from now on. Number 7, Rafael Majka. Now, Majka at the Tour a few years ago showed that he's one of the best climbers in the world. And he's happy to attack, which is one of the things I think you need to win a Grand Tour. You have to be able to go out and attack your rivals and pull time back. Rafael Majka being a minute 44 down, perhaps a bit too much time to pull back, but you never know. Anything can happen in a 3-week race. Number 8, Jakob Fuglsang. I don't think we'll see too much from him. He'll be working mainly for Nibali, but they will be 1-2ing and stuff, and you never know. He can get in a breakaway one day and pull back a minute or so. He's a real GC contender then. Number 9, Ilno Zakarin. I would like to see this guy win the Giro. I think he's an interesting rider. He's not afraid to go out and attack. He could do it, it'll just depend. He had 2 hard crashes in the TT and lost a bit of time there. How he pulls up after that, how his injuries go, how his legs feel in the coming week. Also, he's being a bit of a younger rider, perhaps, and this is the first Grand Tour I think I've seen him lead the team in. It'll be interesting to see how he goes in the final week of the race. And 10th, Esteban Chavez. Now, I love this guy. He's always smiling. He's always happy. How can you not like the guy? Perhaps a little bit too far back due to his time trial, which is one of his downfalls. However, the guy is a world-class climber and not afraid to attack. I think Green Edge, they haven't done too much. He's pulled back little bits of time here and there when the opportunity has presented itself. However, I believe he's waiting for that final week where the big climbs come and all the big boys have to come to the front and ride hard with each other. So I think he will be making a few big moves in that final week in the hopes of moving up. I can see him getting a top 5. Podium, perhaps a little bit unrealistic unless he can pull back large chunks of time in 1 or 2 stages. But 2:26 down, he can pull back a minute on 2 consecutive high mountain finishes, and you never know what will happen. Alright guys, so that's been my review from stages 1 to 10 of this year's Giro. So far it's been a great race. I've been staying up. Here in Australia, the race coverage is about 11 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock, and then I have to wake up and ride the next morning and go to school, so it shows you how good the race has been for me to be doing that. Sorry this video has been a little bit late. It was promised to be on the rest day, which I think was yesterday, but just been a bit busy and it will be out now. I will do a final one of the last week of the race when the race concludes, and we can look back at what's happening and who won the race. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I've been posting some live updates about the race, as well as retweeting some interesting things from several of the teams that I follow. And don't forget to subscribe and like this if you enjoyed the content. Thanks guys, stay chipper.